Well, hello, friends and followers. As you know, my latest project has been reviving this Heathkit Marauder HX-10. So all day today, I've been working on getting the tuning to go smoothly and accurately. So I think I finally accomplished that goal. As you know, yesterday I pulled the VFO out and got it working, put it back in. And today in the morning and the afternoon, I basically tore apart the drivetrain here, lubricated it, and I moved the coupling here. So they had this little coupling bushing over here, which seemed to serve no purpose, and it's in the manual that way too. At any rate, you have to limit the travel between this front knob. It can't bounce in and out. So the only way to do that is to really hem these in by putting a coupling here and a coupling here. I think that's what the instruction book intended, but the pictorial didn't have that correct. So did that, and it seems like it's really improved this thing. Okay, and what else? Okay, yeah, here's the other problem. So when you put this together, there's a spring in here, like a little wind-up spring. The spring is right there, and they say that, I guess you want to turn that a bunch of times. It's 10 times, some crazy amount like that. And the result is, when you crank this thing up all the way up to this part of the band, this dial actually feels springy, like it'll want to return. And it almost feels like it wants to spin back. So I rationalized this and brained it out and figured that it would make sense to set the spring to 0 or neutral in the middle. So I pulled this thing off tonight and decoupled the spring so it had no more tension. And I set it to have 0 tension right here in the middle. So what that means is, yeah, you might have some slop in the middle as far as the pointer not tracking perfectly, but when you go toward the ends here, the spring will wind up one way. When you go toward the, well, it's already wound up. It's basically unwound and gone the wrong way. When I'm down here, the spring has gone this way from its resting point. It's gone like 2 or 3 windings that way. When you're in the middle, it'll wind this way from the resting point. The way they have it at Heathkit, you start here and it winds like 6 or 7 times. It's too tight. So my rationalization is keep it slack and not wound up in the middle, and then wind it this way halfway. You're 0 here, and when you go this way, wind it the other way. And sure enough, that's made a pretty good improvement in the dial. So yeah, I can now pretty much go through here with ease. No bad noises, no binding. This has taken all day to make this work right. Crazy. But it does now work pretty good. I can't say it glides with a flywheel. Well, yeah, it sort of does. But it's, considering what it is, it's better. And there are some points here that are blocked off with this little round guy here limits the travel. I don't know if it'll go like 315 degrees or 300 degrees or 270. I'm not sure how far it travels, but considering then when you run up to here, it'll hit the stop right about there. There's a stop right there. So anyway, you want to make sure the stop is pretty much the same on both sides. And you don't want to hit that stop hard because you'll break the worm gear maybe. Anyway, you'll hit a stop down here too. And that wasn't working right. Right about there. Yep, that's where it stops. Okay, it's a hard stop. And now when you head down here to the lower part of the band, this should be 5.5 megahertz right about there. So you can check it with a receiver, and I use the RTL SDR. Yeah, there's 5.5, and there's my little signal right there. It's not quite on 5.5, but let's dial it up to 5.5 and see where it ends up here. Okay, now we're on 5.5. Let's see what this thing is. Yep, it's pretty much right on. So when you torque it up then to the other part of the band, it should go to 4.9. So we'll crank it up there. And that's pretty much how you can calibrate this thing. Just make sure it does this. Right about to there. Okay, let's dial this thing to 4.9 and see how it looks. Look at that. It's right on the money. So that's how you calibrate this beastie. You gotta go through all that. And then I soldered this pulley on both sides today because this brass part had come off of the steel part. It was crimped onto the bottom sort of, and it come off. So soldered that back on as that was a bit loose. And so yeah, all sorts of things done to the drivetrain here. So I should probably put some grease on the worm gears here, a little bit of grease, but here's how it looks when it runs. Gonna crank it back down. So that's how it goes. And you'll see a little pointer come along here. There comes a pointer. Anyway, this thing's finally working, so now I can move on to actually making it transmit, which might be a problem also. I still don't have any signal, but I figured I'd better get this working first. So that'll crank down to the end. There's the stop. You don't want to go, if you go exceed the stop, you're going to put tension on this worm gear, and there's a stop down in here, and you could break things, so you don't want to go against the stop. I'm not even sure why they put the stop in here, but anyway, it's there. So yep, that's how to do it. It's pretty smooth now. And you want to have some tension on this guy. So this is wound up pretty tight, and yeah, you want to have it lash back and not be loose. So that's about right. So I think we're done here. And now it's time to fix the rest of the beast. But at least this part is working. So yeah, again, this little collar, the book says that this collar here is over here. There's no purpose for the collar to be here, none at all. So put the collar over here. Make sure these two are tight, and that will set your end play on this big knob here. You don't want it flopping around. And then when you twiddle with this, it would bam, 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 move the whole shaft, because this was not on the back, it was over here, and this shaft had really no way of holding itself steady. So I can't believe all these were assembled like that and nobody really put a fix in. All right, well, thanks for watching. That's the Marauder here. This thing's all full of original tubes, which I think probably most are bad. And there goes the VFO. I need 6146W finals because one was shorted. There's one on the floor over there, but I'm not going to really trust it. So I'm going to put in new finals and whatever else it needs. So yeah, this thing's probably, I don't know, days off from working or even a week. Who knows what's wrong with it. I still got to check the sideband transmitter part out. The sideband offsets and all that, sideband crystals. The filter could be junk. I don't know. I hope not. I still got some OB2s to fix too. I think, yeah, that one's glowing. That one's going. I don't know. I think I ordered a couple of OB2s because I figured a few were burned up. So that's where we're going here. This ought to work nice, I would think. I'm really glad this transmission part, the drivetrain, is working for tuning. I mean, that's what you do. You tune the radio and you don't want it lashing or acting up. So you want steady. And oh yeah, okay, I guess we can check steady. So where's this thing at? We're on 4.9. 4.9 is the highest frequency. So let's go back to the top here and look at the backlash, if there's any. I'm sure there's some. So here we're going to the very top. Look at okay, there's our carrier there. Okay, there's our little carrier from the VFO. So what if I wiggle the knob a bit? How does it react? Wiggle it back and forth. It's pretty darn good. So I'm just doing this with it. Whoops, sorry about the zoom. Yeah, it's working well. So here's the movement it was doing, just about like this. That's good, right? I'll take it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.